First, rarity. Experts believe fewer than 10 examples of the 1981 20-cent Canadian Mule heir have been discovered to date. That's fewer than most classic gold sovereigns or early colonial tokens. Its mintage is essentially unknown, but its scarcity is undeniable. Second, error appeal. Mule coins, especially those involving foreign mints and accidental die pairings, are extremely popular among collectors. They represent a glimpse into the hidden flaws of even the most precise systems. In this case, it's a cross-continental mistake, adding layers of intrigue. Third, condition. The record-setting example that sold for approximately $89,000 USD was in exceptional condition, graded as almost uncirculated by top grading agencies. When rarity meets condition, the value skyrockets. Finally, demand. There's a feverish global interest in numismatic oddities. Collectors from Australia, Canada, the United States, and the UK have all expressed interest in this coin, driving up prices at auctions and private sales. So, how do you know if you might have one of these unicorns hiding in your collection? Or perhaps in a jar of spare change? Queen's Portrait. The mule coin uses the Canadian obverse of Queen Elizabeth II. It's smaller, with a more compact design than the Australian counterpart. Beaded circle around the Queen's portrait. You'll notice a ring of tiny beads, feature not present on standard 1981 Australian 20-cent coins, struck in Canada, although not directly marked. These coins bear the subtle die characteristics of Canadian minting. The metal finish may look slightly different, and the spacing of the lettering may be irregular. Edge and rim. The rim of the mule coin can appear misaligned or double-rimmed, another clue to its mismatched die origin. If you spot any of these features, do not spend the coin. Get it professionally appraised, preferably by a reputable numismatics organization or third-party grading service. The market for rare Australian coins has been steadily climbing, and the 1981 mule is no exception. Over the past decade, several examples have surfaced at public auctions, with steadily rising hammer prices. One particularly famous example sold at auction for over 130,000 AUD, which translates to roughly $89,000 USD at the time. This was one of the highest prices ever paid for a circulating decimal Australian coin. Collectors believe that as time goes on and fewer uncirculated examples remain, the value of the 1981 mule will only increase. The 1981 Australian 20-cent mule is a testament to the unexpected in numismatics. It shows us that even in the most controlled environments like national mints, errors can occur, and sometimes those errors can produce treasures. What makes this story truly remarkable is that such a coin could still be sitting in someone's kitchen drawer, in a flea market, or in a forgotten coin collection. The sale set records, not just for Lincoln cents, but for small denomination American coins altogether. It wasn't just about the metal. It wasn't even about the mistake. It was about rarity, about history encapsulated in copper and zinc, about owning a piece of mystery that no one could ever fully explain. Now, let's talk about what makes a 1950 Lincoln Pfennig 5 coin command such a price. First, absolute rarity. Only a few known examples exist. In a world where millions, even billions, of coins are minted every year, finding something this rare is like discovering a fingerprint from history itself. Grading services like PCGS and NGC play a massive role. For a coin like this to fetch over $100,000, it must be nearly flawless, mint state 67, 68, or even higher. One tiny nick, one hairline scratch, can mean the difference between $5,000 and $117,000. Collectors love stories. They love mysteries. They love coins that don't just sit there but whisper secrets from a different era. The Lincoln Pfennig 5 is a puzzle piece. No collection is truly complete without, and for the right beer. No price is too high. Finally, the legend factor. Owning the 1950 Lincoln Fenwick 5 isn't about investment alone. It's about prestige. It's about standing among a select few who possess something even museums covet. It's about preserving a story that could easily have been lost forever. There's another side to this story too. Imagine being the person who finds such a coin, perhaps buried in an old jar of pennies, or tucked away in a forgotten family collection. Many incredible coins have surfaced this way, often by people who had no idea of their value. That's why so many treasure hunters, metal detectorists, and everyday people still sift through old coins today, because sometimes history rewards the curious. The story of the 1950 Lincoln Fenwick 5 reminds you that greatness often hides in plain sight. A coin that cost a single cent to make now stands as a monument to craftsmanship, accident, and the enduring human passion for discovery. If you ever come across an unusual 1950 Lincoln penny, check it carefully. Look for odd markings, especially near the date and rim. Examine the 5 if you can find it. You might just be holding a six-figure treasure in your hands. In the end, the 1950 Lincoln Fenwick 5 isn't just a coin. It's a bridge between past and present, a reminder that sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest stories. And in a world that moves faster every day, it's comforting to know that a simple copper penny, forgotten by many, can still stop time and set hearts racing for those who know how to listen. Would you also like a slightly extended version? For example, one that includes a mini storytelling part about a lucky finder who discovers the coin in an attic box. To make it even longer and more engaging, I can extend it depending on how long you want the final video to run. Let me know. Welcome to the fascinating world of rare coins, where everyday currency hides extraordinary value. Today, we're diving into the mysterious and captivating story of a coin you might not expect, the 1975 Canadian 1-cent penny. Yes, you heard that right, a humble 1-cent coin that, in rare cases, has been valued at up to $77,000 US. What makes this coin so special? How did it become one of the most talked about numismatic treasures in Canada? Let's find out. At first glance, the 1975 Canadian 1-cent penny looks like any other copper coin minted in the 1970s, small, round, and reddish-brown in color. It bears the familiar image of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and the classic maple leaf twig on the reverse. But not everything is what it seems. There's something more hidden within certain 1975 pennies, something that caught the eyes of numismatists and collectors across the world. Now, let's address the name. Many people refer to this coin as a Lincoln penny, which technically refers to American 1-cent coins featuring President Abraham Lincoln. However, the 1975 Canadian cent does not bear Lincoln's image. It features Queen Elizabeth II, like all Canadian coins of the time. So where does the confusion come from? The answer lies in how coin collectors and dealers communicate globally. Due to the popularity of the Lincoln cent in the US, many North American collectors loosely refer to all pennies as Lincoln in common speech, even if they know the difference. But for clarity, this is a Canadian cent, not a US Lincoln penny. Still, the story surrounding it is just as fascinating. To understand the coin's value, we need to travel back to 1975, a year of global change and domestic development in Canada. The Royal Canadian Mint was producing millions of 1-cent coins annually to meet the needs of commerce. In 1975 alone, over 642 million 1-cent coins were struck, primarily from copper. Most of these coins were ordinary and circulated widely, but among the vast mintage, a handful of error coins and special specimens slipped through the cracks. And these coins are what make the 1975 Canadian penny truly remarkable. One of the most coveted varieties is the 1975 double die penny. This minting error results in the design being imprinted twice on the die, creating a slight doubling effect on the date, lettering, or sometimes even the Queen's portrait. To the untrained eye, it might look like a trick of the light, but to a seasoned collector, that tiny doubling means everything. It transforms a 1-cent piece into a coin, potentially worth tens of thousands of dollars. Let's focus now on that astonishing figure, $77,000 US dollars. That's how much an exceptionally rare example of the 1975 Canadian penny sold for in a private auction, according to verified numismatic records. But what made this particular coin so valuable? Several factors combined. Exceptional condition. The coin was in near perfect, uncirculated condition. At high demand. Low supply. Only a few such error coins from 1975 have ever surfaced, creating a scarcity that drives up the value dramatically among collectors. It's worth noting that not every 1975 penny is worth this much. Most are worth only face value. But if you happen to come across one in mint state with a verified error, you could be holding a fortune in your hands. So how can you tell if your 1975 Canadian penny is one of the rare and valuable ones? Here's what to look for. 1. Doubling. Examine the date 1975, the word Canada, and the Queen's portrait. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. If you see doubling, especially sharp and distinct doubling, it could be a double die variety. 2. Mint state condition. Coins in the best condition are graded MS mint state, typically from MS60 to MS70 and MS65 or higher. Dramatically increases the coin's value. 3. Color and luster. The coin should have its original coppery red color, not dark brown or heavily tarnished. 4. Certification. If you believe you have a rare coin, send it to a professional grading service, like PCGS or NGC. They can confirm the error, grade the coin, and issue a certificate of authenticity. 5. Weight and composition. Bay Standard 1975. Penny should weigh about 3.24 grams and be made of 98% copper, with 0.5% tin and 1.5% zinc. Variations in metal content or weight could also signal something unusual. There are countless stories of people discovering rare coins in the most unexpected places: old piggy banks, inherited collections, even parking lot change. One Canadian collector reportedly found his rare 1975 double-die penny while sorting through a jar of old coins from his grandfather. He had nearly discarded the entire jar before deciding to give it one final inspection. That last-minute decision changed everything. After grading and verification, the coin sold at auction for over $70,000. These stories ignite the imagination. They remind us that treasure can be hiding in plain sight. The Royal Canadian Mint is known for its precision and quality. However, even the best mints can produce anomalies. In 1975, increased demand and heavy production schedules may have led to occasional oversights, double die errors, misaligned strikes, and other minor flaws occasionally slipped through, especially when die maintenance protocols were stretched thin. Over the years, collectors have cataloged multiple minor and major error types in the 1975 penny issue, but only a handful have reached the level of value and rarity that justifies a 5-figure or 6-figure price tag. The real question now is, could you own one of these rare 1975 Canadian pennies? The answer is yes, but it takes a sharp eye, patience, and a bit of luck. Start by checking your old coin jars, boxes of change, or family collections. Focus on pennies from 1975 and inspect them under good lighting with a magnifying lens. Welcome to another deep dive into the captivating world of rare coins and numismatics. Today, we uncover the astonishing story of a small copper coin that captured the attention of collectors around the world. The 1969 Lincoln Pfennig, a coin with a reported value of up to $91,000. This is not just a tale of rarity and value, but one of mystery, error, and the enduring legacy of a design that has stood the test of time. Let's begin by setting the scene. The year is 1969. The United States is at the height of the space race. Cultural revolution is sweeping the globe. And in the world of coins, the Lincoln cent continues its long and stable production run. Originally introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, this penny was the first U.S. coin to feature a real, historical figure on the obverse. Its designer, Victor David Brenner, immortalized Lincoln's profile in a now iconic image that has endured over a century. Fast forward 60 years, and the 1969 Lincoln cent appears at first glance to be just another penny, minted in both Philadelphia and San Francisco, with millions of examples struck. There seems little to make this year particularly special, but hidden among the masses is a variation so rare, so unexpected, that it shocked even seasoned numismatists. The 1969's double die obverse, yes, the legend of the $91,000 coin, isn't about a different design or a foreign influence. It's about an error, a striking error that transformed a common coin into a treasure. So what exactly is a double die obverse? In basic terms, this is a coin that shows clear, doubled images on the front side, particularly in the lettering and date. It's not damage, nor is it a post-mint alteration. It's a result of a mishap in the die-making process at the mint, when the hub that impresses the design onto the die strikes it more than once, but slightly out of alignment. The result, a visible duplication of letters and numbers, like shadows of themselves. On the 1969's double die Lincoln cent, the doubling is dramatic. The words Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date 1969 are all clearly doubled. This isn't subtle. Even under low magnification, it leaps out, and that's what makes it so special. But here's the twist. When this variety was first discovered in the 1970s, many collectors and even authorities thought it was a counterfeit. After all, the doubling looked too bold, too clean. The U.S. Secret Service even got involved, confiscating several coins believed to be fake. It took time, careful analysis, and input from experts to confirm that the coin was genuine and that the doubling was a true mint error. Once verified, the coin's reputation soared, but its extreme rarity kept it out of most people's hands. Only a few dozen examples are known to exist today, and among them, condition is everything. A high-grade 1969's double die obverse cent. In fact, one specimen in near-perfect condition was sold for $91,000, making it one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever sold. So why does this particular coin command such a high price? Let's break it down. First, rarity. With only a small number of authentic examples ever found, it joins an elite club of Lincoln cent heirs. The combination of low numbers and high visibility doubling makes it irresistible to serious collectors. Second, condition. As with all coins, grading plays a major role in value. A coin graded MS65 or higher, with strong red coloration and minimal marks, is exponentially more desirable than a circulated or brown-toned example. Third, historical context. The 1969's era came at a time when coin collecting in America was booming. Errors and varieties were beginning to be cataloged and appreciated more seriously. This coin was part of that wave, and its fame only grew with time. And finally, there's story appeal. A coin that was once seized by the Secret Service under suspicion of being fake, only to be vindicated and become a numismatic legend. That's the kind of backstory that turns a piece of metal into a treasure. Let's also take a moment to clear up a common confusion. You may have heard the term Lincoln Pfennig floating around. In truth, Pfennig is a German denomination used in the Old Deutschmark currency. The correct term for this American coin is Lincoln cent. However, due to the coin's resemblance in size and color to the German Pfennig. Some collectors or casual observers might refer to it as such, especially in online forums or global numismatic communities. Now, how can you tell if you have one of these rare coins? Start by checking the date and mint mark. The $91,000 variety is specifically the 1969S. That's a San Francisco Mint coin. Then look for strong doubling on the obverse, not just a hint, but obvious doubling on "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the numerals in the date. Be cautious, there are many coins with machine doubling, which is much more common and far less valuable. Machine doubling often appears flat or shelf-like, whereas true double dies will have a more rounded, shadowed appearance. If you suspect you found a 1969S double die, the best course of action is to have it authenticated by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. It's worth noting that even among rare coins, the 1969S double die has become something of a holy grail for Lincoln Cent collectors. It's a dream find, a coin that may still be sitting unnoticed in pocket change or stashed away in a family jar of pennies. That's what keeps this hobby so exciting. The possibility that unimaginable value could be hiding in plain sight. This story is a testament to the importance of observation, education, and passion in numismatics. Every coin has a story, but few are as compelling or as valuable as the 1969S double die Lincoln Cent.